So Nate, this is your house.
It is.
Behind us. One of the things I want to ask you is this the first time you've ever built a house?
It is not the first time.
Oh.
No, we built
really?
a stick-built house back in 2016.
Okay.
2016.
All right, so you just built a house about 8 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. And how did that compare to building a house like this?
There's no comparison. There's no comparison. That was more of a big-time builder where you go into their showrooms and kind of pick the few options they have, where, as I was telling you earlier, we started talking to Sam in 2017 about this project. We got to the finish line in 2020 and then COVID hit, so we paused a few years and now we're here.
Now you're here, okay. So timber frames, how did you come to timber frames? What appeals to you about that?
So we never knew we wanted it until we got married at the Timber Lodge here in Akron, New York.
Oh, nice.
And Timberbuilt is actually the one who built it. And on our wedding night, my wife and I said someday we're going to build a timber frame on the property. And we're blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw that Timberbuilt and you're like, wow, that looks cool.
And once we saw it and started looking into them, we could never come to the conclusion of building another stick-built house. We said we'd do what we had to do to find a way to make a timber-built home happen.
Yeah, it's like once you've seen that, you can't go back.
No way.
There's no way. You see those big timbers in there, you can put your fist against it.
And you can put fake timbers up in a house and try to make it look timber-built, which some builders tried talking us into, but nothing can compare to walking through the house on the tours of home, the tour of homes down in Ellicottville a couple years ago and last year. You can't replicate it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
It is.
I love them too. Well, how has it been to work with Timberbuilt?
It's been amazing. I mean, seamless from the start. Sam's amazing. I can see why you guys put her as the first point of contact with anyone calls. And I feel like we've been a pain because we've changed our plans several times. We've added second stories, removed them, then re-added them, changed garage layouts, and they were just amazing. The architects, everyone on site, all the guys who raised the house, they're machines. I can't believe 4 guys in 12 working days raised that entire house, all the timbers and all the panels. It was fun to watch.
It's incredible, right? You have nothing there, a foundation, and then 2 weeks later, you've got this giant house.
Literally,
yeah.
It was a foundation with the first floor deck on, and those guys were animals just getting after it. And every day you would come, there was another massive wall up, and then the roof panels went on, and they were packing up to head out, I think, to Montana.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they travel all over.
Yep.
All over.
Yep. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. So one of the things is I grew up in Buffalo, and we had a house that was built in 1890, and we could not heat it during the winter. It was like a sieve. You just would try to put heat in it, and it would leak out. And so we ended up spending the entire winter in the living room. And one of the things I love about the Timberbuilt houses is they use these SIP panels, so your whole house is so easy to insulate. Was that a factor for you at all?
Yeah, I don't think it was a deciding factor, but the other day, last week, the plumbers were here, and it was real hot outside, and I stepped 1 foot inside the house. Now, obviously, there's no HVAC in this yet. Yeah. It had to be 20 degrees cooler in there. And I said to the plumber, whoa, it is so much cooler in here. Now, he's working his butt off, so he was still sweating, but it's noticeable. And I told my wife and my father about it, just how incredible the insulation already, you can tell, is going to be. And just seeing the panels in their raw form, the roof panels and the wall panels, you really understand how much better insulated this house is going to be than a regular house.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the drafts don't come in either.
Yep.
It's not just that it's super insulated, it's just super tight too.
Yeah.
Air doesn't escape from it.
Yep, absolutely. And all the SIP tape on all the seams and everything, so it'll be buttoned up. And that's why you all recommend the air recirculation system in the houses.
Yeah, air exchangers are super important to kind of keep fresh air coming in, and also so the air in your house just doesn't get stagnant, so it doesn't start to smell a little bit, because it's not going to leak out like it does in most houses.
Yeah, and that's how the HVAC guy was describing it. He said, in the spring when you open your windows to get fresh air and it just feels better to breathe, said you're going to have that all day, every day in your house, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is a front entry olive, right?
It is, front entry olive.
So what spoke to you about that design?
The great room, to be honest. Just absolutely love how it enters with the loft space and the huge vaulted ceilings with the exposed timbers on the ceiling. We love that there's a first floor master, and I know a lot of the plans have that. But when we wanted to add some square footage above on the second story for our kids' bedrooms, it made the most sense. And talking with the team at Timberbuilt. We went back and forth between a few of the different models. I think the Marshall was one, and there was one other, and Sam took us in person to some site visits of already built houses and houses that are being built, and just everything about the Olive worked for us.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's a big size. You've got a big family, so it's perfect.
It's gonna be great.
What advice would you give to someone who is about to build their first house? What have you learned?
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Through the process, I think I talked to 6 or 7 different timber framing companies, and as luck would have it, the one in my backyard, Timberbuilt, is the one we ended up liking the most, liking the people the most, and going with. There was no idea I threw out that they shunned to the side right away. They were willing to have conversations with me, tell me where they think that would work, where they think it wouldn't work. And some of the other companies were a bit more, we don't want to entertain that idea. So once we picked Timberbuilt, we did our homework, and then obviously just making sure the financial side of things is squared away, because that can be stressful. But yeah, I would say do your homework. And then for our general contractor, we talked to a lot of different home builders and general contractors, and to be honest, most of them weren't interested in the project because the timber frame aspect intimidated them. They didn't know how to run the HVAC. They weren't confident with the electric. It was just a project they weren't really willing to get into. And when we met Kelkenberg, and Timberbuilt actually recommended we reach out to Kelkenberg because they had built a couple others with them. They've been amazing to work with, super awesome people, and the whole team there has been awesome to work with.
Yeah, that's super important, finding the right GC. And that is actually a thing that we encounter at Timberbuilt. There are GCs who just see the panels, they see the timbers, they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with that. It's
almost like they don't know how to price the job, because they think things are going to take longer or shorter than they normally would. And obviously everyone's in business to make some money. So like I said, I think 5 or 6 different GCs said it's a beautiful house, but we don't want to jump into that one with you.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, we get that. So for any potential clients out there, a lot of the GCs we work with have not built a Timberbuilt before. So we talk people through. We talk through the crews, how to do this, what to do. So, yeah.
In the timber panel package or whatever that was. I mean, I'm not a contractor myself, but flipping through, I mean, there's instructions on everything in there, from running the wires to how the roof panels and the shark skin needs to be put on, and every step of the way. So I could see why it is intimidating, but it was a pretty foolproof plan in those packets that Timberbuilt puts together.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
All right, Nate. Well, thanks for giving us all that. And I hope you have an awesome move-in and enjoy this house for many generations to come.
Thank you. That's the plan. We're very excited to make this house a home.
Yeah, awesome.